Hi, everyone. It's me, Whimsy, and I thought that I would do a tarot reading from beautiful Tel Aviv. I am still in Israel. There was a delay on the flights because we had a bombing near the Ben Gurion airport, as many of you know. I'm fine. There were no serious. I think there was a minor injury. Thank God. Uh, Everything is okay. I will not be able to leave here until the 12th, and unfortunately, the United Airline flight was canceled. So the only way I can get out is via Dubai. So I'm going to take an Emirates flight direct to Dubai instead, spend the night in Dubai, and then fly from Dubai to London, London to the United States. And that was really the only way I could figure out how to get out of here in one piece. It is, I think it's something like 40 something hours because the flights are so crazy. So I will be spending the night in Dubai. Of course, that's not the worst thing in the world. There's always a little bit of a sweet in the lemonade, right? So I'll be able to finally see Dubai. Very curious about Dubai, and I will be close to the Dubai Mall. Make sure and get lots of photographs for all of you who are curious about the famous Dubai Mall. And yeah, so I'm 11 minutes walk from the Dubai Mall. I figure I'll hop over there, get some nice photographs, and try all that delicious, yummy food that Dubai is famous for. And then I ought to be back in the United States on the 14th. I do need a turnaround date. So I've asked Chuck to reschedule you. I do apologize. I promise you, when I do speak to you, you're going to get an amazing reading. But unfortunately, these things happen. I've been asked to do a lot of meditations as a remote viewer, and I try not to be biased as a remote viewer because the type of remote viewing I do is called heart-centered remote viewing. And one of the things we do teach our students is to step back from one's own ego and one's perceptions and try and see the bigger picture in things. Sometimes I will use cards to trigger me or to help me connect with my subconscious or my deeper feelings, which is connected to the collective or superconscious. Carl Jung talked about this. And while there's doom and gloom on both sides, the Republicans hate the Democrats hate the Republicans, the cards simply don't show doom and gloom for the future. Every time I go into the future, I see us evolving towards something greater. Of course, this matches Jewish philosophy and Kabbalah, which does not foresee Armageddon. Armageddon already happened. Uh, we know that there was a war in a place called Armageddon. So biblical scholars think that that's a misreading of the Torah. It was a battle that already came and went. We've now located the archaeological site for it. No, instead, the Jewish mystical or Torah view is aligned with science and evolution in the sense that the Torah view is that human beings are evolving towards perfection. We are evolving towards something greater. And in fact, science would say that that is precisely what's going on. We are gaining a greater prefrontal cortex, a frontal cortex, and we are becoming wiser, smarter. We're more inclined to think before we act. These are parts of the higher brain that are evolving. And this is why mystics like Rabbi Cook, who also became an anthropologist, talked about how science was actually aligned with Torah philosophy. So we are evolving towards perfection. When I go into the cards, that is precisely what I see. And in fact, it's a false teaching that we're going towards Armageddon. We had Armageddon, and now we are evolving towards peace. Not everybody wants peace. Not everybody, some people just want to fight. But the overarching energy is one of unity. It's interesting that the Pope that was chosen, was it Leo the 11th? Do I get that right? Leo, I, the numbers are confusing. Let me look it up here for you. But evidently, he's a unity maker. Robert Prevost, Leo the 14th. Evidently, everywhere we go in every spiritual community, we hear the same thing. People are crying out for unity, unity, unity. We see it here in Israel. I'm right now in the Jaffa area and speaking to Arabs, non-Arabs, Jews, Christians, Muslims. I want to hear everyone's voice. And even though many people feel that they've been misused or misunderstood, the cry I hear from the majority is, we want unity. We want peace and we want unity. So this is a time of peace and unity. Let's do the empath's prayer. We're going to use some cards, and then I'll try to get to everyone's questions. Remember, no matter what, we are evolving towards unity and perfection. And, Darwinian's general theory of evolution, some roads will lead to extinction. 90% of what we try doesn't work. It leads to extinction. The Torah talks about us being pounded into fine gold, that we are being pounded into the most pure fine gold. And that can be a very, very difficult thing for all of us, that you have been pounded into the finest gold. You think about all of the challenges that come with being human, and look at how wonderful you have become. Look at what you did with the challenges in your life. Look at what you've become in this moment. Look at all the tragedies and difficulties that you faced, and yet you never lost hope. That's the spirit of human beings. It's something that we're all born with. Okay, let's do it. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively, we will say Amen. Together we say Amen. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to take a look at this trip that Donald Trump is going to be making to Israel. As I had said, we're moving people to safe zones away from the war so that they can get the food that they need without Hamas stealing the food, and that may require U.S. troops. The good news is that the U.S. troops will not be engaging in battle. They're going to be feeding people in the safe zones away from the war, probably. And I know people are concerned about U.S. troops, but as peacekeepers, and we may be bringing in other peacekeepers like the UN, etc., so the good people can finally get what they need, because they shouldn't have to suffer. So that's the first thing is, Trump wants to get credit for it. And the truth is, it's a really good idea, if I must say so myself. Let's take a look. I believe with perfect faith, because I've seen the future. And I trust in the goodness of human beings. I have trust. I have faith. Where we are at right now, the world is changing. It's changing very quickly. The Chariot is one of movement. You're on that subway. You're on that express lane. And it's an express lane to where? The base of the matter is that things are changing, and they're changing very quickly. That is the base or the hidden message. And the karma card is Archangel Raphael. We are entering into the time where we will see the healing. So we were in battle. We took the weapons of war away from those that would do harm. We're getting the people into safe zones. And then the energy of Raphael can come in to heal those who have been traumatized. The time of the healer, the time of negotiation is Now, the first house, not surprisingly, is dun, 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 the King of Cups. The King of Cups, as you know, is the great negotiator. And we have a beautiful King of Cups moving into first position. I like it. I like it. He is the bridge over troubled water. And we can see the Karma card as well is one of healing. The crossing card for the world is we will see new alliances. Most people are good. Most people are good. Most of the people in Gaza are good. Most of the people of Israel are good. Most of the people of the West Bank are good. We have to begin to go and find the humanity in one of another and come together to heal, unity, and share, just like our parents taught us, right? What is above? We have the strength of the woman. When the woman is brave, you know, Queen of Wands, she has conviction. The earliest archetype of the Queen of Wands was actually a Yoruba or Risha or goddess or spirit known as Oshun, and she wore the yellow dress, and she represents beauty and strength and courage. What we sit in is also the Queen of Cups, and this is Yamaya, also the ancient Yoruba symbol for the mother of the sea, and she later became Maya. Yamaya is sea. Yam in Hebrew is sea. Yamaya, Yam, the mother of the sea, and Maya, of course, the mother of Buddha and Mother Mary. So she is the mother of the world, the most ancient symbol of her self-respect or respecting women, respecting the feminine divine, respecting fertility, etc. It's the archetype of the Queen of Wands. So we have this strong female energy coming in balance, both as the maternal mother, the loving energy, but also the woman who establishes boundaries. Later images of the Queen of Wands represented the gypsy who danced on the 2 foot by 2 foot board, demanding that you recognize her space. And I like that imagery as well. But the underlining message of the Queen of Wands is one of dignity, respect, and boundaries. The Queen of Cups dreams. She dreams of love and very romantic. Some people have felt that Princess Diana was the archetype of the Queen of Cups. Of course, she was a Cancer, which was a water sign, which is typified by the mother maternal instinct. So many people have thought of it at, Lena Rodriguez calls it her Princess Diana card, because that really is the archetype of the Queen of Cups. And what we're coming out of is we're coming out of a time of war. King of Swords is associated with the Hebrew word din or law, boundaries. Gevurah is boundaries. So establishing the law, discipline. If you're looking at the writings of Brene Brown, compassion can only come with boundaries. And we're seeing these boundaries, discipline, war, but we're also seeing this unbelievable opportunity for healing as well. And we're entering into a time of hard work. I believe that because we're talking about rebuilding Gaza with a new vision, a vision of love, compassion, and unity and respect for everybody, so that everything is shared. We can see a heavy load. Great work leads ahead. Excuse me. Great work lay ahead, but also we see people moving. We see a movement and we see work both coming into the future. So even though things are trying right now, even though in the United States we're seeing challenges, I simply do not see dark days ahead because Donald Trump is in office. And I think the reason why is because many of the companies that are emerging right now believe in the new green economy, and they're investing in eco-friendly businesses. And so for that reason, I just don't think that Trump is going to be able to push destructive things as much as people would like. If you're talking about destroying the environment and coal, etc., there really isn't any need because of the diversification that's beginning to happen towards cleaner economies, cleaner ways of producing fuel. And so, for that reason, it doesn't happen. Everybody's moved on to easier ways to produce, easier ways to make money that simply are not as destructive. And so, if you're trying to sell coal, if you're trying to sell these old ways of doing business, the companies that are in positions of power, they've already begun to diversify towards cars like Tesla, so we have this wheel of fortune moving in, that the time is now, that there's this destiny happening, and the opposition is war. There are people that still want to fight, whether it's Iran and their ally, the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas. They are the opposition. But the fact that the Wheel of Fortune is coming in, this is a war card, of course, or what we call helter skelter, heavy lit winds, and it is the opposition to peace in the world. Time is limited, though, with that Wheel of Fortune moving into seventh position, as you can see. So the time of war is coming to an end. People don't want war. People want peace. The hope and fear at this time, many dead. In Gaza, in India right now, in Pakistan, we're seeing war. We're seeing war in Ukraine. And it doesn't surprise me that we get this juxtaposition of war and destruction, death, and betrayal. And the final outcome in the coming weeks regarding these issues is a time of armistice and peace and rejoicing when the people dance in the streets. And so, again, this is pointing to the fact that we're moving towards peace and away from war. That is, in fact, the armistice card, or as my friend Linda G likes to say, we are moving towards people dancing in the street. And you can see those nice 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th house, 7th house, of course, being where we're at right now. The times are changing, our opposition war, our hopes and fears. We don't want anyone to die in war, of course. And then the great 3 of Cups. Armistice is around the corner. Clarification here is we will get our wish. You can see that nice wish card over the destiny. The opposition or the truth is over our enemies. The Archangel Michael comes. So again, if there's truth to our opposition, if whatever the truth is will come out, whatever the truth is of how this happened or how we can make it right, we see Archangel Michael coming. This is also very good if you are worried about the war in Ukraine, because it would indicate that there's a kind of cleansing or healing that could be happening in the Ukraine. Of course, Ukraine's Archangel of Ukraine is the Page of Swords, or Archangel Michael, who fought the devil with a sword and won. So this could also be an indication that we could be seeing good news for Ukraine in the coming days. The hopes and fears is that the war will end. Knight of Pentacles is a card. It's a stopgap. The knight cannot go anywhere. And we can see this nice juxtaposition of the 10 of Swords coming to an end. And then over the rejoicing, we see a new beginning in springtime. This is the time of spring. So, as you can see, I did not manipulate the cards. I simply read the cards straight as they are. And once again, we see that the final outcome regarding wars globally is one of a new beginning in spring, of armistice, and that we are moving rapidly, the Hermit, towards the time of the Page of Cups, which would indicate again that we are moving towards healing. People want the wars to end. Good people don't want war, or maybe they thought they did, and then they realized that that was a silly idea. But we are moving towards peace. I want to just check briefly about what's going on with Congress. I'll just do some quick blitzes now to answer everybody's questions. They wanted to know about the future of Congress and if Congress is going to get together and start thinking in terms of what's best for the American people. I certainly hope so, and for the rest of the world, because they are creating a legacy, a history. First card over U.S. Congress is strong opinions. The women are rising in Congress. The opposition, Tower. So we're seeing that Strong opposition, people not working together, people creating problems is a thing of the past, and that what people want, what the American people want, is unity. They're angry at the Democrats and they're angry at the Republicans. While they pick up each other apart and get into these silly little fights, none of that is ultimately what's good for the American people or for the world, for that matter. And so, if you take a look at the juxtaposition of the four cards of the Blitz for the future of Congress, again, we see a peace offering, a putting an end or a side to this fight. Here we have strong opinions and we have opposition tower. We don't need this right now in Congress. We need people to be decent to one another and help one another. We have a new beginning happening. Again, this is the card of Uriel and spring and the great Ace of Cups, which is an offer of peace, love, and harmony. Again, I did not manipulate the cards. And, I'm just simply pointing out that despite the doom and gloom and horrors that everyone is talking about, the cards simply do not show that. They do not show destruction in the future. I'm going to check out the environment now. As I had said, I predict that we are moving towards the new green economy. But before I do that, I'm thinking I want to just check out India and Pakistan, because that is where I'm most worried about. Let's take just a quick blitz. If there is going to be a problem, it's going to be India and Pakistan. They are the most vulnerable, as President Obama said. Pakistan keeps him up at night. Pakistan has a nuclear bomb, and so does India. If we're looking at instability, that's where we're looking. The war between India and Pakistan. Justice. The opposition, Three of Wands. Hopes and fears, peace. The final outcome for India and Pakistan, a new contract. So likely what will happen is that international peacekeepers will come in to organize a new, fair, and just border between India and Pakistan. It could result in an international legal action. You can see the courts coming in, Three of Wands, of course, waiting for your trade to come in. They want peace, but you can see this new unity. It really just takes saner people to come forward and work towards unity. Two of Wands, of course, is very much a unifying card, because Two of Wands typifies new partnership and trade between Pakistan and India. They do a lot of trade together, and instead of trying to beat each other up, they should be evolving towards Two of Wands, which would be strong commerce, trade, and also working to encourage more tourism in that area, which benefits both. Lovely to see the Queen of Cups moving into Three of Cups, the mother of all life. And so Ten of Pentacles, the inheritance is the issue. They're fighting over who owns the land. Love to see justice come in, and the sharing of the Two of Wands there, again, indicating unity. All right, so now we're going to just take a quick look at the economy. I know people are worried because there has been some concerns about retirement, etc. Showing you the cards. Don't you feel better now? Aren't you glad I showed up? All right, let's take a look at Social Security and the future of the economy. Many people are worried that we're headed towards another Great Depression. There are a lot of people that cannot agree on what is best for the economy, and the opposition, again, is we could be seeing legal action. People are confused. They don't know where to go, but the good news is the jobs are going to be exploding, particularly in the way of the new green economy, and I simply do not see an unemployment problem in the future. Quite the opposite. May, June, I see heavy jobs market. And again, here are the cards. People are stubborn. Four of Cups. Everybody has their ideas. We're looking at possible legal action because of the tariffs and everything that's going on. International different countries could be suing the United States for violation of trade agreements. Hopes and fears, Seven of Cups, people are confused. But again, here, final outcome is the Page of Pentacles, which would indicate the future is bright and that we're going to be seeing a lot of job hiring starting in May. Some people are just very stubborn. We see this stubbornness, and yet we see the courts moving in. These are both court images, the judge and the courts moving in. Ten of Cups, very auspicious. And over the issue of jobs, confusion is almost this confusion or this psychic connection to a sense that everything will be okay, but a confusion about why it happened this way. And my response would be, the reason we didn't have an economic crash was because we evolved towards this whole new green economy, which required hiring more people and working in these new fields and industries that are going to be exploding sometime around spring, summer of 2025. I think a lot of that had to do with what Joe Biden put, where he had put billions and billions into the new green economy, many of those jobs starting in spring, summer of 2025. And I think that that's what we see. Page of Pentacles is work, 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 money, 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 and new jobs. What's interesting is that the moon is there so that the economists themselves are confused about what's happened. All right, one quick throw. Let's see how President Trump is doing. I had some concerns about his health. Of course, he's 80 years old. A little concerned he might have diabetes or something like that, because you can't eat junk food like that. Coronary artery disease, diabetes, and Alzheimer's or dementia are associated because they're all associated with poor blood sugar. Poor blood sugar can lead to all of those medical conditions, which is why we're concerned about overeating sugar, et cetera, in the diet. I'm a doctor, so that's the direction I go in. Let's see about Mr. Trump's health. His first card regarding Trump's health is the Sun. He must have some awareness that he needs to eat right or be put on. He's one of those patients that would be a good candidate for Ozempic, because if somebody comes into your office and they don't want to change their diet, then that's the person that would have to go on medications. So there's this awareness there. Ten of Cups also is auspicious. It would indicate that his opposition, there's an awareness here. I think that this is someone who knows his medical records. He's been told probably to lose weight. This is not someone who is unaware of his medical situation. And Ten of Cups is also auspicious. It's the happy family in the opposition. His hopes and fears, inverted Queen of Swords. The inverted Queen of Swords has shown up for Donald Trump in the past. This is like a psychotic, mentally ill woman. And I don't know, people have said, is it Laura Loomer? I don't know. But it's this weird psychosis. If it is Donald Trump, then I would say that he is worried about his own mental decline. It could be that he is questioning his own mental health. The final outcome for Donald Trump is Four of Cups, stubbornness. This is a man who is typified by stubbornness. He may be concerned about his mental health. He may be concerned about his health overall, but I don't think this is somebody that's willing to make major changes. He may pop a pill to help lose weight, but I don't see a commitment to overall change, just because I always see this stubbornness card with him. The clarification over the Sun for Donald Trump's health is King of Swords. There he is. He's aware. I know what's going on. The Sun. His opposition, the Empress, the Ten of Cups. He sometimes rejects people, even the people that love and care about him and are trying to help him. So this is somebody who's very, like in Hebrew, din, the law. Somebody who's very guarded, the King of Swords or the Ice King. Meanwhile, he has all this loving people, probably Christians praying for him, people that are praying for him. And yet he himself, he has this rigidness where he doesn't even allow the good to come in. And that can sometimes happen when you have lost faith in people. Regarding issues, there's this change happening with his health. I would think this is mental health. That he's a little bit concerned. Maybe his memory is not what it used to be. Maybe he's agitated. Maybe he's having problems with somebody close to him, possibly a woman. The transformation of that relationship. The final outcome for Donald Trump and his health is the Queen of Cups. Sits and dreams. This could be an indication of emotional instability or emotionalism. The dreamer is a part of him that dreams. He could dream away his life. Overall, not a bad reading for his health, but I would be a little bit concerned about his mental health, and his stubbornness could be having a negative impact on his health, in the sense that if he's been told to eat a mostly plant-based diet and stay off McDonald's with that 4 cups, I don't think he's going to be listening. Overall, though, everything is moving in a positive direction for the world, and we just have to keep our own homes clean, try and live a natural life, be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too, and do the best we can. But ultimately, the cards are quite positive. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your love and support of me and my work in the Oasis One project. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, I'll be back ready to see patients after May 16th, I think, is the best time for me to come in. All right. Love you guys. Thanks again for everything. And God bless. We'll see you next time. Peace out.